Oh, hi, friends. Just break something? Is the microphone working? Can anyone hear me? Can I? What? I need to trim my beard. Kind of like an old wizard beard. It's been a long week, everybody. It's been a long day. Oh my gosh, Binary C, where have you been? I made your own channel on the Discord and then you disappeared. I thought you'd been kidnapped or something. You've been acquired? I knew this day would come. Do you have to move? Do you have what happened? I have a someone I know was at First Republic. Were you really acquired? First Republic was acquired, but this person did not decide to stay there eternally. I remember you were Swiss. Okay, so let's go over here. When did we get this wallpaper? Did we get this last time? Is this a cursed location? Reminding me of the end of Resident Evil 7 for some reason. Okay, so let's find some wallpaper and then let's start this puzzle. Been sitting at this computer all day. I had to work late again this week. I was doing so good on the show of not working late, and then this week just did not work out. So I'm a little frazzled, a little tired, but definitely excited to do a Blobz puzzle and then go eat some food. Oh, and Chris, how's it going? This is a beautiful starry night. Okay, so I deliberately did not look at this puzzle. I saw the name. That's it. Star-Spangled by Blobz. So we're gonna learn the rules together because I don't know them. I now looked at the puzzle. I can see a hint of something looking very patriotic back there. Good per usual. Are you always good? Is that true? Is it good to always be good? It's probably good to always be good. Okay, normal Sudoku rules apply. Circles contain odd digits. Got it. Squares contain even digits. Got it. Digits and cages do not repeat and sum to the value shown. Easy. Indexing. Okay. Pink shaded cells in rows 1, 5, and 9 index which row the digit 1, 5, 9, 9 respectively is placed in that column. Okay, for some reason, I don't know that I've ever done like 1, 5, 9 indexing vertically, which sounds weird to say. I feel like I always see those set in the columns. Okay, pink Ramban lines. Oh, and Chris, I want you to be good all the time. I've been a little cranky this week, frankly. Binary's been acquired, which I think means he's been like assimilated into some mega organism or something. I don't think he's a human anymore. Oh, really? I've done lots of... trying to remember. I did one recently that was weirding me out because the indexing was it was the JW Sinclair one where it was like partial. It wasn't the full columns were indexed. Anyway, okay. So then we got some Renbands. So this seems This seems doable. We're ready to reveal the puzzle. Oh yeah, maybe you're right. I don't know. I've done so many blood puzzles. Wow, look at this. I love it. What a stunning, this is just bananas. This is crazy, just like hypnotic, this region here. Okay, so we need a good camera, a synthesizer, a handheld radio. I love that. Are you gonna knoll these things? Are you gonna take them all apart and knoll all the parts? I'm preparing a video with you in mind, Binary, right? Disassemble something back there and knoll it real time. Maybe not real time. We'll fake it in the editing. Okay, we have a couple things we need to do. We need to probably start doing this before the stream. That's not what we want. We want to interact. So, what if we, America? What if we search for America on Shader Toy? What are we gonna get? Oh, I like these Verneuil fields. It's kind of cool. It's like amber waves of grain. Those are kind of wild. Should we go with these? I think I love them. Or should we do a flat? Oh, I love the way these grow. Okay. Okay, let's try this one. What do we think about this? Is that Purple Mountain's Majesty, Amber Waves of Grain? I don't think it is, actually. But I don't know how to get out of this once we do this. Yeah, okay. Hang on. So I gotta do this. Oh gosh. Oh, I forgot also. Yeah, I said I was gonna forget this last time. Making this window the wrong size. Okay, everything's a disaster. Let's go here, 1920, hit 80, because that one last time was bafflingly okay, let's go here. Let's interact. What if we do flag? I don't think I really want a flag. As many flags as we have a very nice American flag. Now I want mountains. I want Purple Mountain's Majesty. I want to be above the fruited plant. Are these Purple Mountain's Majesty? Wow, that's pretty. Whoa. It's a little ominous, and it has a warning, so I should probably not do that while trying to stream. Why do all these cool ones have warnings? Foggy mountains. I would accept Amber Waves of Grain as well. This is a distraction. Owen Chris does not care about this. Owen Chris is here for Sudoku only. Hello? Did I freeze this? Did I break everything? There we go. We need to center this. And we need to... Ooh, that's pretty. But it's heavy. The canyon's cool. Those re-marching primitives. Oh my gosh. Crash the stream. Whoa. I think there's just like, that's just grass. Whoa, look at that. That's crazy. What are these giant sky tubes? Look at that. Okay, let's do this one. This is beautiful. This is America. Is this gonna work? Okay, flying above the this version of America with insane sky tubes. Okay, I'm going to restart the timer because I got distracted. Restart. Okay, so what do we know? We know that circles are odd, which I would agree with. In that oil and water puzzle, evens and odds, I didn't necessarily agree that even is oil. I just don't think that's true. I think even numbers are wet, but that wasn't the rules of the puzzle. So circles contain odd digits. So these are instantly narrowed down to oddity. And squares, it's probably not actually worth pencil marking these, but I'm going to do it anyway. And these evens are here. Okay. That was probably a foolish idea, right? That was probably a silly thing to do. It's just force of habit, but it looks insane in this puzzle. What probably actually matters is something like 20 with 2 odds and 2 evens, or 11 with an odd and 2 evens. Yeah, that's interesting to think about. Especially, I guess that does make sense actually. Okay. And then we got a whole little... Oh, right. It's an indexing puzzle too. Okay, I'm going to undo this. I think that was my normal instinct whenever there's circles and squares, but there's just too many circles and squares in this puzzle. Can't deal with it. Okay, there's 7 trillion ways to make 9s. Everybody knows that. We have some Rinbands. The Rinban over here has a 5 on it, though. Right? So because there's a 5 on this Rinban, doesn't that mean that this Rinban must be either entirely above 5 or entirely below 5? So I think that means that this is either 1, 2, 3, 4 or 5, 6, 7, 8. No, sorry. 6, 7, 8, 9. 6, 7, 8, 9. And I wonder if this is going to help us disambiguate. And then some number that crosses the void there, like say an 8 and a 4, for example, or an 8 and a 4, for example. Some combo is going to be 12, but there's a number of ways to do that. So this 22 cage in 4 digits is sort of interesting, but not that interesting. It's sort of interesting because 4 digits, the 4 highest digits, well, is that interesting? I don't think it's that interesting. Because the lowest, no, I don't think it's interesting. The lowest that can be is 10, and the highest that can be is 30. So I was just trying to decide if we knew that these were, 2 of these were absolutely high or 2 of them were absolutely low, but I don't immediately see that as being tremendously useful. There's so much going on in this puzzle. I've definitely not fully internalized all these rules. Okay, feels like there's probably some conclusions we can make about these things. Two odds and 2 evens summing to 20 seems interesting. This 9 is worthless and no one likes it. This 15 is like very slightly, okay, actually, this 15 is like very slightly vaguely interesting, right? Because that's either a 7-8 pair or 6-9, and the reason that's more than a little bit interesting is, remember that 5s, these pink, yeah, interesting. Okay. Remember that these are index cells. But only these 2 tell us where the 1 goes in those 2 columns, which is interesting. Every 9 in this puzzle is indexed. Correct? Which I like, because if you have these full lines, there's a trick with these puzzles where these end up being a mod 3. Or kind of split by mod 3, where, in other words, you need like, in this selection, there's going to be a digit 1, 2, 3, from 1, 2, 3, from 4, 5, 6, and from 7, 8, 9. And the reason is you can't double up a 9 in one of these boxes. So for example, if this is 1, 2, 3, then that takes care of the 9 that's in this box. And if this is 4, 5, 6, then that takes care of the 9 in this box. So that is a useful thing that we cannot really use upstairs, which is a little sad. But what that would mean in this case, for example, is that this would be, if this indeed was 9 and this was 5, that would be sort of the only middling digit that could go in this box. So that is actually kind of interesting, right? Because that means that these digits, these sums, are kind of like mod 3 sums. Not exactly, but from each of these consists of a low digit, a middle digit, and a high digit, I guess is how I would describe that. And so the lowest number you could make with a low digit, a middle digit, and a high digit is 12. If you chose the lowest of those 3 numbers. And unfortunately, none of these are 12. But we only have 1 degree of freedom for 13, actually. Meaning that 13, that's true, right? The lowest of these 3 digits, knowing that we have to have a low, a middle, and a high down here, would sum to 13. Sorry, would sum to 12. And so we only have really 1 more degree of freedom. So it's not 1, 4, 7, but it could be 1, 4, 8. It could be 2, 4, 7. It could be 1, 5, 7. But I think that means that we could never have a 3, a 6, a 9. 3, 6, or 9 are not in this column, in this cage. We have 2 degrees of freedom here, unfortunately, which does allow us to have like 1, 4, 9. So we can't immediately rule things out from the low side. On the high side of things, oh, well, the high side of things is 18. Is that true? How do we make 18 in 3 digits, knowing that we can only use 1 of each of these? So if we take the maximum from those 3 little groups, isn't that 18? Is there another way to make 18 in 3 cells in an indexed puzzle? Oh, is that going to do something crazy with the evens up here? I wonder. Okay, I feel like I need some confirmation, but I think this is true. That down here, we have to use 3, 6, and 9, because once again, we can only use 1 digit from each of these sets, or we'll end up with 2 9s in one of these boxes. So, and only by maximizing the digit from each of those sets do we get 9 plus 6 is 15 plus 3 is 18. So I think that has to be true. Terrier, where have you been? The red cells is where the indexing is applied. Yes. Pink shaded cells in 1, 5, and 9 index which row? Digit 1, 5, 9 respectively. So if I'm understanding this correctly, a normal time zone, what does that mean? Terry, I feel like I haven't seen you in 6 months. Owen, do you agree with this? Or am I headed off into badness? Gojo, how's it going? Bright and early. Well, I also didn't stream for a very long time. How's it going, Gojo? Owen, are you toying with me? Am I making a mistake? This feels right to me. That the only way that I can make 18 in an indexed row is with these 3 digits. Am I wrong? Owen? Owen? Scojo, you're on vacation. I saw you were playing Talos Principle. I enjoyed that game. I haven't played it for some time. I didn't like it as much as The Witness in terms of game mechanics, but I did think the story was interesting. In fact, some of the like letter logs from that game, just like the logs, the story logs you just read on computers, like really stuck with me, interestingly. See, Owen's off in the world. Anyway, okay, we have 369 here. One thing I can see, though, is we can't put a 9. I don't know, my brain is really having trouble doing this vertically, but we can't put a 3 in row 2. Sorry, we can't put a 9 in the 3rd cell of this column. Am I saying that right? Because it has to be even. You're killing me. You people are killing me. Okay, I don't know why I'm so used to this like sideways. I feel like I want to turn this puzzle sideways. But doesn't this mean that in row 3, doesn't it mean I can't have a 3 here? This is what I'm trying to arrive at. Doesn't it mean I can't? I think that's true, right? That this cannot be a 3. Because I can't have a 9 in row 3 in this column, because this is an even digit. So that's not a 3. Sorry, my brain is it's a long day, everyone. I basically went straight from working to streaming. And in fact, I was sort of, this job, on the job I'm working on, pretty much the whole team is in the UK. And so at the end of the day, I open up OBS, just like I'm going to stream, and I record videos for them. Oh no. Terrier can't see the rules. Here, I can pop this up. I don't know if that helps at all. Basically, we have odd and evens, circles and squares. We have some ren bands, and then we have indexing and the pink shaded cells. Okay, so there's definitely a 9 down here. Of that, we're certain, which is interesting because remember, we were trying to decide if this ren band was all high or all low, but it still feels like a 9 could escape here like a little gremlin, like a dark little gremlin into the night. Okay. Now, the annoying thing is the following. Somehow, with our remaining digits, what it's going to be is basically 147, but one of them bumped up and one of them bumped down. Because normally these 3 digits would equal 15, these 3 digits would equal 12. So we need to borrow one of these here. So in other words, this is going to be all the lowest digits, except one of them is going to be swapped with the middle digit. What have you been up to? What have you been doing, Terrier? I had many months where I was very busy and I wasn't streaming or doing Sudoku, but I'm trying to get back into it. So, but I don't think we know which is which, right? It could be any of them. We could swap any digit. Which is sad and hurts my feelings. One of these is certainly a 9. One of these digits is certainly a 9. One of these digits is certainly a 9. It'd be sort of interesting if it was this one. But that's not very hard to imagine. Like if this was a 9 and a 1, and then that was 2 even digits that equal 10, like 2 and 8. It's not an especially daunting thing. Okay, so, well, this felt good. I was just realizing that this should think about this a little bit. This is an interesting puzzle because it's just my attention is bouncing around everywhere, which is probably not a good thing. I really enjoyed the Blobz, that foggy yin-yang sightlines puzzle, just because in a fog puzzle at the beginning, you know exactly where you're supposed to be looking, which is always a problem for me, especially when I'm streaming. So this is interesting because we only have so many low digits, sorry, even digits, and we're using all of them here. So we're going to have 2 of them plus something. Like, for example, this could be 8 and 2 plus 1. But if we do that, if we try to make this 8 and 2 plus 1, then we have to make this 4 and 6 plus 3, for example. So the lowest, so the 8 and 6 can't go together. Oh my gosh, Blobz. This puzzle is amazing. I don't know where I'm supposed to be looking. I just am like I'm on a little buffet looking around the puzzle, trying to make little deductions in little places. I did think this was cool. I've never seen anyone do this. Hopefully I did that right. But I am always really interested in that, like the weird mod 3 thing with indexing puzzles. And I don't think I've ever seen anyone like use it in this way, although I have not figured out what to do over here yet. You know what actually I really like, and I'm not sure that I've seen, wait, was I supposed to start here? Because I just moved up here. You know what I would think would be, let me think of what this would actually look like. I think I did see one, now I'm not remembering, maybe you made it. I feel like I've done a puzzle, but I would like to see more of this because I like the way that 1s, 5s, and 7s are excluded from black Kropke dots. And I like indexing puzzles that are 1, 5, 9. And I think I've done one puzzle that had overlap of those rules that was focused on indexing and Kropke dots, but it feels like there's more potential there. Blobz, did you do that puzzle? Who did the puzzle that I'm thinking of that was like indexing, and it was like indexing versus black Kropke dots? Anyway, the thing I was just thinking about, Kropke 159. So maybe I'm thinking of yours. I like that. I like that kind of thing where there's like an excluded set, and that's the thing to think about. Like, I've done a few puzzles I feel like with black Kropke dots where it wasn't about the black Kropke dots what they could be, it was about what they couldn't be, and I always think that is a cool thing. So okay, Blobz has already said I'm looking at the wrong place, but I just want to think about this for a second, because all of the evens are accounted for here across these 2 cages. We definitely know that we can't have 6 and 8 together, because 6 and 8 together alone would be 14 and would break the bank. So we know that it's a 6 with 2 or 4, or it's 8 with 2 or 4. But I don't know that at this moment I know much more about that that situation. One of these is definitely a 9, which means there's also no 9s in this world, but that wouldn't make any sense, because the lowest this could be is a 6 and a 2, which would mean 8, and then the other one would be 12. So the lowest this could be is a 6 and a 2 is 8. So the maximum this could be is a 3. This is probably not the place to be thinking. I just want to think about it for a second. I apologize, I'm off track already. I'm just interested in it, just following my interests. So of the things that we know, we can't have 6 and 8 here, obviously, but we also can't have 8 and 4 here. So we could have, I just want to think about it, and then I'll move on, I swear. See, Blobz is supportive of me. Blobz, by the way, you missed my initial just like jaw drop at the way this looks. I love the symmetry of this so much. It is like does something to my brain where I just want to stare at this, but it makes it hard for me to actually work on the puzzle. So anyway, the thing that I was going to say, there's a 6 or an 8 in here for sure. If there's an 8, it can't go with the 4. So if there is an 8 in here, it must go with the 2, and then this would be a 1. So one of the options here, if there's an 8 in here, it must go with the 2 and have a 1. If there's a 6 in here, it may go with a 2 and have a 3, or it may go with a 4 and also have a 1. Is that? Wait, how did I get a 3? Wait, what did I just do? That's not how math works at all. Sorry. If there's a 6 in here, it would go with a 4. I'm already confusing myself. 8 and 2 is 10 and leaves a 1. 6 and 2 and 8 leaves a 3. 6 and 4 is 10 is a 1. So no matter what, this is a 1 or a 3. The same thing is going to apply over here. But in this case, unfortunately, the 8 can go with the 4. So if it's 8 with a 2, this is a 3. If it's 8 with a 4, it's a 1. If it's 6 with a 2, this is a 5. And if it's 6 with a 4, this is also a 3. So that's 1, 3, 5. We also know that one of the 9s is over here. Yeah, the aesthetic is beautiful. I love it. I used to do these, I used to call them emoji mandalas, where I would just do these like symmetrical emoji compositions. It was a long time ago. So there's definitely 9 in here. This is only 1 or 3. Okay, that wasn't quite as restricted. What I was hoping in my heart is that we'd somehow end up with a... Wait a minute. Well, didn't I just break this? Right, no, that's not true at all. I can't do 6-2 in here. Because if I do 6-2 in here, then this is 8-4. If I do a 6-2 in here, which is how I ended up with the 5, then that makes this 8-4, and that is a forbidden situation. So this is either 8 with a 2 and a 1, or it's 6 with a 4 and a 1, or it's 6 with a 2 with a 3. This is 8 with a 2 is a 3, or it's 8 with a 4 is a 3, or it's 6 with a 4 is a 3, but it's not 6 with a 2 because that would leave 8 with a 4. So we do get a 1-3 pair. So then we get 1, 5, 9 here, but what? We already said that one of these is the 9. 1 is not available here. So this is not 9. No, I've done this wrong already. Good grief. That's not 1, that's 7. Sorry. So we have a 1-3 pair. We have a 5-7-9 triple. 9 is certainly in one of these due to indexing. I don't like the way that 9 is sitting on that 20. I also could have added the cage totals together, and that would have probably made more sense. I don't know. I feel like my way got me there. That should have been my instinct when you have 2 cages in a land. But that doesn't change that my remainder is 5, 7, 9, right? So had that been 24, I would have discovered that in 5 digits. I don't know that I'm quite seeing the logic there. I'm sorry, in 6 digits. 9 would have been 15 and a 9. Well, that would have been the wrong number of odds. Oh, I see. Okay, I kind of see how I could have worked that out. Well, I did the, the slow and steady way. Slow and steady wins the race, they say. Slow and steady solves the Sudoku puzzle eventually. One of these days. That makes sense. It checks out. I'm not very good at that kind of reasoning. I think I'm especially bad about it. I lose the ability to do arithmetic on stream. It was an embarrassing but very true statement. Basic arithmetic when streaming eludes me. Whatever part of my brain is responsible for basic arithmetic is like watching the frame rate. But yes, I can see that if that was 24, that would have 24 to make the secret number. Sorry, 21 with a secret number with 3 odd digits. And then I would have known that I had a 1-3 pair there, and I wouldn't have had to spend 5 minutes doing what I was doing, but hey. That is sort of interesting from this. I hadn't really thought, now that you mention it, since you brought it up, I hadn't really been thinking about the composition of, like, you know, seeing that 3 of the odds are taken, like 3 of the odd digits are taken here and 2 of the evens. So over here, so this 15 is always odd and an even. I don't know that really helps here. Just kind of interesting, I guess. Either way, this is an odd and an even, and either way, this is an odd and even, because these are odd numbers. The totals are odd, so I guess I should not be surprised there. But the odd and even is also a bit interesting from Renbanness, right? Like, because that's going to mean there's an odd and an even here on a Renband. I'm just thinking about if that means anything that I care about. I'm not sure that it does. Okay, I don't know what I'm doing. Should I be thinking about that? That is sort of interesting. Like the remainder, like what's, you know, like this is definitely an odd and an even. I guess all of these are all odd. Do I think there's a 9 here? Blobz is going to tell me that it's just a matter of simple arithmetic to discover that anybody could do it. Child. Terry Darts think there's an 8 in this puzzle. I find that a little hard to believe, frankly. I see no evidence of 8s. I mean, you know, there's some pencil marked 8s, but okay. Maybe we should go back down here. Okay, so what did we learn? What we learned down here? Let me explain to you what we've learned here today. We know that there's a 9 up here, right here. We know that there's a 9 in here somewhere. So there's a 9 down here, and this 9 is hanging out down here with some other odd digit. A couple of weirdo digits just hanging out. It's also hanging around down here with another, with a remaining even digit. Is there a 9 in the 17 cage? Sure. Why not? We know there's, I mean, if the 9's in here, it's got to be in here with 2 other digits that become even, meaning they're both even or they're both odd. Did I finish thinking about this? I sort of feel like I did, but maybe I didn't. So we realized there's 1 degree of freedom here. What does that mean for this? I see, I see tomatoes flowing out of the corner of my eye. So this is going to bridge our 2 Rin bands. We've already decided that this is either 1, 2, 3, 4, or it's 5, 6, 7. Oh, sorry. It's either 1, 2, 3, 4, or 6, 7, 8, 9. We talked about this. We know the 9 isn't here. But couldn't it be here? Could the 9 be here? There's a 9 somewhere in this land. There's only a 5 somewhere in this land. 3 is certainly down here. This is a bummer. These hurt my feelings. This little party. I know I'm being slow, but hey, what am I gonna do? We've absorbed the 9. The 3, the 6, the 9. Oh, hold on. We've consumed 2. Okay, sorry. I know I'm slow. I'm being slow today. As I said, which I think was like the first thing I said in this puzzle, there is definitely a 5 on this line. So because there's a 5 on this line, this is either 1, 2, 3, 4, or it's 6, 7, 8, 9, right? It's either digits below 5 or digits above 5. And I've been focused on the fact that the 9 is down here, but there's 2 high digits down here, and only one of them could possibly escape here. So, for example, even if my 9 is over here, where do I put the 6? I have an answer for that, but it's inappropriate. So I think it's 1, 2, 3, 4, and I think that means that this has to be, but then we have the same problem with the 3, but the 3 can escape and hide over here like a little animal. Which interestingly would put a 9 there. And then there's a 9 down here just doing no harm to anyone. Ah, but that tells us where the 8 is. Oh, and we know where the 7 is. In the indexing. Okay, I'm ignoring chat for the minute because I feel like I'm just starting to get it. Okay, so 9... This is either 1, 2, 3, 4 or 6, 7, 8, 9. I do not think we are able to make these high. I think we have to make these 1, 2, 3, 4, right? Because if we try 6, 7, 8, 9, we can only hide 1 digit over here. But we do have to hide the 3, like an embarrassing, something we're ashamed of. So we get a 1, 2, 3, 4. We get the 3 over here. And then does that just 5, 7, 8 in the middle? Okay, is that good? Are we happy here? See, Blobz asking me. Blobz asking the tough questions. The rules on the lines. So these are Rin bands, obviously. Good old-fashioned pink Rin bands. These are indexing cells, meaning if there's a a 3 in here, then the 9 goes up here. So this tells me where in the column the digit 9 goes, the digit 5 goes, the digit 1 goes. 1 is very limited. Okay, but this is good because usually 3 plus 9 equals 12 is generally the good rule of thumb. So that's going to give us the 7. So the 7 is in the big guy cage. So didn't we say that the big guy cage was going to trade 2 of its lower digits to be able to be the big guy cage? Sorry, would trade 1 digit with the little guy cage. So the little guy cage is 147, and that equals 12. It's an invisible cage that I'm making up. The other cage is this one that's 15. They have to do a prisoner swap. So what that means is the 8 is going to be over here. So the 8 is going to have to go with the little guy digits to make 13. So 7 is going to have to go with the big guy digits, with the big boys. And that means that this is true, I think. I think that means this is true. Is that true? Oh, and Chris, welcome back. Rinban is a sequence of digits that are consecutive, but in any order and do not repeat. So this Rinban is 1, 2, 3, 4. This Rinban is 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 5, 6, 7, 8. This is not 7. And the reason I knew that is a 5-cell Rinban always has a 5 on it. So the 5 was consumed here, so I knew that this had to be either all above or all below what's its face. So we know some things about the world now. Like the fact that this can't be a 5. This is really hurting my brain for some reason, the sideways. This 5 is the digit in row 5, column 4 is an even digit. So we can't put a 5 here, right? If I try to put a 5 here, a crime will occur. Because that would mean a 9 is here. So this is a 2. So this is a 9. So this is a 5. So this is a 9. Okay. Blobz, this is such a beautiful puzzle if I would just not get stuck on it. But, you know, I love to get stuck on everything. So that's great. So now we've taken care of the 5 there. So we know that one of these is a 9. Wait. Well, hang on. We know that 8 is not here. So 8 is here. What else do we know about anything at all? So 1, 4, and 8. So one of these is a 9. One of these is a 9. One of these is a 9. Is it all true? But sometimes one of my hobbies, Blobz, is asking the right questions at the complete wrong time. Like looking at just the complete wrong part of the puzzle. That's why, yeah, fog puzzles really help me out with that. Really focus the old attention. Okay, so that puts some high-ish digits in this 22 cage. We know there's a 9 down here, actually, for some reason. Right, because of this. So that means there's a 9 up here. So there's not a 9 in the 22 cage. I don't know how interesting that is. Oh, we also know there's a 5 here. So that is a 7. So that's a 5, 6 pair. So we have 11. We have half of our 22 cage. Okay, yes, I'll give you the ASMR. I'll give you the ASMR voice. Let me do it right now. The thing about it is I think it will lend some credibility to me because it will put me somewhere between, like, it'll be like a very NPR kind of, somewhere between like NPR host or like golf. announcer, but okay, let's try. Okay, and here in row 6, down in box 6, you can see that we're trying to work out these other digits in the 22 cage. We already have a 5-6 pair down here in row 7, and so we have to make another 11 here. And we don't have a 5-6 available to us, but that wouldn't be relevant anyway because we can't repeat the 5 and 6 within the cage. In thinking about the ways you can make 11 in 2 digits, unfortunately, there's quite a few. We know that 9 and 2 are already ruled out because the 9 is up here. So 9 and 2 are a no-go. There's never a 1 this is essentially a 2-cell 11 cage here. So we've ruled out the 1, the 2, and the 9, as well as the 5 and the 6. So that's going to leave either 8 with a 3 or 4 with a 7. And at this moment, I do think that either of these options appear to be viable. I may be mistaken about that. So, in fact, it may be interesting to see how that interplays with the 17 cage over here, which we still haven't determined whether or not we think there's a 9 in there. But I'm going to take a quick break from that and just pop down here because I'm a little concerned that I may have missed something in one of these cages at the bottom. I have to say I'm very pleased. Kudos to Blobz, the constructor. He's here in the chat with us, for really exploiting one of my favorite features of indexing puzzles, which is the kind of hidden mod 3 problem, where you can never have in a single box, if you have all 3, if you have 3 cells indexed within that box, you can't, for example, have 2 digits out of 1, 2, and 3, or you will duplicate the indexed number in the associated box. And I'm really tickled that the break-in of this puzzle used that rule, because it's something or not even a rule, it's kind of an unspoken rule. It's one of those things you just have to discover over time. Is this I don't think I really have the right voice for this. It's not deep enough. What we need is like right when I wake up in the morning. I feel like my voice, I can't have a few more octaves. Probably not octaves, a few more semitones at least on the low end. They get a little lower. This is hurting my throat a little bit. Maybe if I caught a cold or was suffering from allergies, that would be something. So anyway, thinking about that, it does mean, as I mentioned previously, that there is a 9 up here. Can't be sure at this moment whether or not it is in the 13 cage with a 4. The 4 does seem to be available to that 13 cage, but the 9 could just as easily escape over here. In the 4 cage, in the 4th row, we do have a 9 here, which is interesting because as we think about the composition of these other cages, not that there could ever be a 9 in a 9 cage, but it does help us think about the 22 cage. And the 8 down here is a little less interesting, but I think I would like to take a moment here and do just a little bit of pencil marking, just to kind of flesh out these boxes where we already have so many digits. So here in box 8, we do need a 1, a 4, and a 6. And here in box 9, we have kind of an almost roping situation. Not fully roping, so there's not really a word for it, but sort of a semi-rope. So I'm sure that we learned a tremendous amount from that. Really should be have to keep tabs on as we think about these index cells. Actually, is an important thing to think about, because whatever we use here will end up with a 5 placed in that row within the corresponding column. So we couldn't, for example, we've already determined that we can't have a 5 in row 8. So we know that this 9 is not a 8-2 because it wouldn't work out. At this moment, it looks like row 6 is also ruled out. Oh, as is row 4, interestingly enough, because we already have accounted for the 5 in one of these. So one of these has to be a 7. There's really no other way around it. And that will place the other 5 in 3. So it took me a bit longer to spot than it probably should have. But you can see that because we have a 5-6 pair here, and we're indexing that 5 or 6, we know that one of these must correspond to row 7. And by virtue of that, to complete the 9, sorry, I said 8 and 2 earlier. I apologize. I meant 8 and 1. In this case, we do have a 7 and a 2. For some reason, was thinking of this as a 10 cage, which is just not the case. So we have row 7 accounted for now. We have a 5 and row 2. So I was mistaken with what I said before, because I was thinking this is a 10 for some reason. That puts the 5 here, not on the rim band, which is interesting. So the 5 is going to be kind of off in its own little world here, not on this rim band, which is useful because that, once again, just the same as we saw over here, that's going to push these rim band digits either above or below 5. It's not quite as constrained as we saw previously, but it is still pretty constrained. So it's either some combination of 1, 2, or 3, or some combination of 1, 2, 3, 4, or some kind of a combination of 6, 7, 8, 9. It also means there is no 5 in this 13 cage. This digit was already ruled out from being a 5, and actually that has me curious about the 1 here, because you can see that we have quite a few digits where we have not been able yet to place the 1. Not quite enough to sort of use the mod trick just yet. But you can see of the high digits, it could only be a 9. You could see of the middly digits, it could only be a 4. And of the low digits, looks like we do have some options here in the low digits. So, but let's pause on that for a minute, because another thing I'm realizing here is that we have spoken for 2 of our even digits here. So let's just go ahead and take the opportunity to do a little more pencil marking. So we can navigate 4. Someone's going to probably come by the channel and think that this is actually how I speak. And that's going to be a little bit weird, frankly. We've spoken for the 9 and the 7 here. So this is going to be 1, 5, 3 and the 4, 8. Not helpful to us at this moment from an indexing perspective, but that's okay. So, what feels most fruitful at this moment? Okay, okay, are you done? Did I overdo it? I might have overstayed my welcome with that voice. I apologize. Okay, what are we doing? So, oh gosh, Owen, appreciate that. Okay, what are we thinking about, everybody? We're thinking about 9s. We're thinking about 9s a lot. I just think about 9s sometimes. So I'm curious about 9 in the 17 cage. I'm curious about 9 up here. If the 9... So we're going to have... Somewhere in here is going to be kind of a 1-9. Well, not necessarily, actually. Right. Okay. We can't do this. Can we? Let me think about it for just a second. Sorry. To think about this situation we find ourselves in. So if we have the 1 here, by indexing, this must be the 9. But that's okay for both of these. But I guess the indexing, the asymmetrical indexing is a little weird. Because it wouldn't trade. You know, in this case, we'd have to kind of trade digits back and forth, but we don't have to trade any digits here. So I don't know if that's really meaningful, but it is a little weird. We have this like asymmetrical exchange where these would be 9 pairs, but this needn't be. I guess it could be, but it is not required to be. Oh, by the way, remember when we talked about the digits here? I got so distracted by making the voice that I kind of forgot what I was doing. Remember, we have to sum to 11 here. And we now have spoken for the 7. So I think we can pull the 7 and the 4 out of here and get the 3/8. I think the 3/8 is the only way we're going to make our... Is that true? We had 5, 6. We needed 11. There's no 1. We couldn't do 2, 9. We could do 3/8. We can no longer do 4, 7. We couldn't do 5, 6. So 3/8 seems to be the only way to make that 11. I'm slipping back into the voice without even trying now. So up here we have 9. What? We have 9. We have 1. We have 4. That seemed true. So that's 2 odd digits over here, and there's 2 odd digits over here. There's an even digit here, so this is an odd digit. I kind of want to like put my own circle there. So it's an odd digit that sees a 5 and sees a 9. So that's a 1, 3, 7. We just said 1 is over here. That's a 3, 7. And these are 5, 3, 7. That sees a 3 down here. Because of this 4, these are 2, 6, 8. This cage is starting to feel like something's going on over there. Okay. Anything else we care about from this situation? 17 is starting to feel under pressure. What are the ways? I mean, I could just do this and check these off. That would make life way easier. Sorry, everybody. I'm going to do it. It's such a cop-out. There's definitely no 3s in here. There's definitely no 8s in here. This is just to avoid having to do arithmetic and embarrassing myself. Sadly, though, it didn't help us, because I still don't know. I was hoping that would be a shortcut to know if the 9 was in there, but I don't think I know right this second. Okay, Blobz says the killer calculator is not a cop-out. So, I don't feel very bad about using it in this puzzle because it's not the point. I mean, it's like, it's not the whole point of the puzzle is figuring out what can and can't be. I definitely have done puzzles where the killer calculator just like trivializes the whole puzzle, because you know what I'm saying, where like the whole point of a puzzle is that like, oh, this is a 3-cell cage and there's only one way of this particular total with a 3-cell cage, and you just have to know that, or you just use the calculator. But if the whole puzzle is only that, the puzzle just does itself, which doesn't feel good. Okay, so indexing wise, I feel like I'm missing something with indexing. So the places 1, can be one of these is a 4. That's true. So there is right? Well, no, shoot. I keep forgetting that this is not like triple indexed. Is this pencil mark just wrong? Or did I have some other reason to think that 9... I make a bad deduction. This couldn't be 9 because I couldn't have a 1 here. So that's fair to say. This 9, we got through indexing, so that's fine. We got this 9, we got this 9. So we know there's 9s here, here, and here. So there is a 9 up here. But it's not necessarily required that there's a 4 up here unless one of these is indexing the middle box, right? Like if this is, for example, indexing the top and the bottom box, it could be like 1 and 8. And then this is not under any pressure. So that's, I'm not very good at these, like the partial index, the partial indexing thing. So they have a 4, but I mean, that is very attractive, right? Oh, well, at least one of those has to be true. I see. Okay. I think the, oh, okay. I feel like I'm almost understanding this, but I'm just not quite there yet. So sorry, forgive me. Is it right? These not only have to index, they also have to sum to 13, which 4 and 9 would do really nicely. That would be lovely. But is that? Oh, you can't index. Oh, is that the point? I couldn't index the low box. I can't index this box in here in this cage because it'd be 1, 2, or 3. Is that the point? Why did I not think of that when I was just talking about how cool it was that was used down here? I'm sorry, Blobz. Oh yes, and you're asking me that exact question right now. Great. Yeah, sorry. Sorry. Okay, yes, right. Oh, that's so embarrassing when I talk about how much I like a rule and then just completely completely ignore it. Right. I don't know, is it because of my pencil mark? I just was not even processing that 13. So under that 9 is a 13. And that means that the low index, if I tried to index the low part of this, I wouldn't be able to make 13. It would not be possible. So I'm not indexing the low number. That's really interesting. I don't know, like for some reason, the thing I was about to say a minute ago is like most indexing puzzles I've done have been full row, or really full columns. And I just recently tried one that I think was a J.W. Sinclair puzzle that was partial indexed, like where I think it was actually the 5s were partially indexed. And I had a hard time with it. I was having a hard time like understanding those restrictions. It's cool. I really like it. I just haven't internalized that. Yeah, that is cool. Okay, so what that means is I'm definitely indexing middle and high here. And the only places for 1s in middly land and high land are the 4, 9. So that's awesome. That's great. So we take the 4 out of here. I don't know that matters that much right this second. But that is really interesting for this, because we kind of clipped off the extreme digits in addition to the 5, right? Oh, also, one of these is definitely a 4, and one of these is definitely a 9. So doesn't that mean that one of these is definitely 1 and one of these is definitely 1, so these aren't 1? Is that true? One of these is going to have a 4 in it, and that's going to point here. One of these is going to have a 9 in it. It's going to point here. So I think that's correct. Somehow that feels wrong. So it does kind of squish 1 over here, because 1 is accounted for here and here. But maybe that's not very interesting. But what does seem interesting, yeah, again, is this situation. So that 4, 9, we've clipped the wings of this. It's not a 5, and it doesn't have 4, 9. So it's either 1, 2, 3 or 6, 7, 8. What does that mean in terms of evens and odds? That means that if it's 1, 2, 3, that still seems okay, unfortunately. Bummer. I was hoping that that would reveal it. Because you can see that they're inverted compositions, right? Like 1, 2, 3 is 2 odds and an even. But that's okay, because then this could just be even. Or it's 6, 7, 8, which is 2 evens and an odd. But then this could just be odd. This is definitely composed from an even and an odd. It's kind of funny because you just end up with this like even and odd, and even and odd, and an even and an odd. So this is also an even and an odd. I don't know if this matters, but this is even and an odd as well. Do I care about that? This is an even and an odd as well. But I think this thing's ability to flip back and forth doesn't help me there. Okay. What happens if I just try to mentally put some digits in here? Just thinking about the fact that 1 and 3 are currently unaccounted for. MIA. Is that interesting? Oops. Almost feels interesting. Like thinking about where 1 and 3 need to go. Yeah, that's right. I was just trying to make this a 1, 2, 3. Or make it not a 1, 2, 3, and then think about where 1 and 3 have to live. Like if this is, but I think they can just live right here. So I don't think I don't think that bothers anybody. I think no one's feelings are hurt. No, didn't I say I couldn't do that? For some reason that I no longer remember? No, I think that's actually fine. Axio, how's it going? Where have you been all my life? Okay, sorry, I see tomatoes flying. I definitely need to pay attention. Axio, welcome back. Okay, okay, sorry. Diversion. I was barking up the wrong tree, obviously. What tree should I bark up instead? Oh. Just thinking about evens and odds. You know, like you do. Yeah. That's all of our evens in this column spoken for. Oh my god, Axio's been assimilated. I knew this would happen. Axio's been taken over by GPT. Well, we knew this was going to happen. Okay, we have... Okay, there's a few things to think about, I guess. So all of our evens are spoken for, right? Even, 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 even. So this is not a 6, and this is odd. And it's not, it sees 3, it sees 5, it sees 9. So that's a 1 or a 7. Even, 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 even. This is not a 4. Wait, did I just remove the 6 and not realize that 4 is also even? That's pretty funny. Pretty good. Even, 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 even. This is an odd digit, which is a 1. This is an odd digit, which now sees 1, 3, and 9. And 5. So that is just a 7. That's a 5, a 3, a 1, 7. No 5 there. That's very exciting. That 1 is not indexed. Doesn't matter to me. We did get a 7 in the 17 cage. So the 9 can only be in here if there's a 1 with it. Oh, is that just forced? That's pretty. Both 1 and 9 have to be down here. So if 9 was here, 1 would be in here, and it would... We'd need a 9, and same thing. So it doesn't that mean this has to be a 9-1 pair? I love that. I hope that's true. It's very lovely. So that... I just got a tomato to the face. Was that a mistake? Did I do something wrong? That does take care of all our odds there. So this is an even. It's currently season 8. I do, every time I make a phone call, I get a tomato as a response. It's a weird form of asymmetrical communication. Actually, I feel like I haven't seen you in 6 months or longer. That's probably true because I took a long break from streaming. Okay, so that is sort of cool. So there's a 3. There's not a 3 in here. What goes in here? All of our odd digits are spoken for. right? 1, 3, 5, 7, 9. So this is 2, 4, 6, and it sees the 8 in there. Actually, what have you been up to, Axio, aside being assimilated by robots? This is still 4, 6, or 8, I guess. Not tremendously exciting. Can't stop just staring at this pattern. I love it. We could probably start thinking about the composition of this now, right? I know there's a 5 in here. I know there's definitely a 5. There's definitely not a 1. No, there's definitely not a 3. So there's definitely, that's interesting. There's definitely a 2. So those both have 2s, which is going to place a 2 either way, right? Wait a minute, I don't even know what we're talking about. What you just switch? You just switched gears on me. I don't even know what those words are. What is Solero VAD? Oh, that's funny. I had to write a very bad... Wait, okay, did I do this? How funny. Gosh, how did I do it? Okay, sorry, slight diversion here. You just like unhooked something from my memory from a few years ago. Yamnet. Audio event classes. Oh, what kind of audio event classes? So I did a very silly... It was a very silly training project. Like, it was a client job for this VR training thing. And it was so silly because it was like this VR video worker training thing. And we had to detect if someone was talking, but not actually pay attention to what they were saying, which was very silly. So, because it was basically just like prompting you, and then you would have to say the thing as part of the interaction. And so I was... I had to do some very simple like voice activity detection algorithm, and I can't remember what I did, but it was so simple and dumb, but it worked. It was like the simplest possible. Finger snapping. Whoa, cool. Can I use it? So it runs on Android. What kind of device? Are you running it on a phone, or what are you running it on? I can't remember what algorithm I used. It was the simplest possible thing, but it was good enough. It was good enough just to know like whether or not a human was talking, basically. It was very, it was so rudimentary, but it was accurate enough for that job. Yeah, binary. I seem to remember it was some. Sorry, I just can't quite remember, because it wasn't just about spectral analysis. It was something about intensity or cadence, or I just can't remember. But it was, I guess the thing certainly didn't come up with the algorithm, but the thing I was impressed with, that it was so dumb and simple, but it worked well enough. Okay, sorry. I've lost full track of what I was even doing. I got distracted by voice activity detection. So sorry, actually, what hardware are you running this on? What are you doing? Are you spying on me right now? Okay, what are the last few conclusions we made? We figured out that there was a 2 in here. Right. That was the thing that we all agreed upon. And then there's either 4 with a 6 or 9 with a 7. But there's definitely not an 8. When we had all those conversations 100 years ago about what could go in these cages, and I just don't remember any of it. No concept at all anymore. Did we... So that was useful. This thing of just seeing like, hey, we had all of our odds and evens. Is that available to us anywhere else? We have 3 guaranteed evens over here. Looks less fruitful than this column, I must say. I see tomatoes in the corner of my eye. I feel so bad for Blobz. Blobz sets these amazing puzzles, and then I just like stumble through them. TF Light. Yamnet. Oh man, I don't need to be interested in more things, but I am curious about what you're doing. I ordered a Raspberry Pi 5 today. I didn't even want to, but I did. Maybe it was yesterday. Okay, sorry. Pay attention. Everybody, pay attention. Oh, didn't we say... We removed a 4 from here, but I can't remember who the 4 went with. I think the 4 could go with either the 8 or the 6, actually, in this case. In fact, it had to go with the 6, right? Because it couldn't go with the 2, because then it broke that other box. Cool. Oh, we removed it. Right. We removed a 2 from here. And 8 could only go with a 2. Right? 8 couldn't go with a 4 here because it'd be too big. So by not having a 2 here, we cannot have an 8 here. So 8 is somewhere over here. Either with, well, it couldn't be that way. Oh, Blobz. Just trying so hard to help me. Okay, I see it now. Even though I was literally just going through and trying to count evens and odds, and there's, man, I'm bad at scanning. Yes. Where is the 3 in this column? Does anyone know? I'm tempted to just ignore that for a second, though, and just try to finish this thought that I had. Just for 1 second, I'll put the 3 there, and maybe it reveals here. But I just was wondering about the 8. If the 8 were here, 8's not odd. 8's definitely not there. 8 is somewhere in here. If the 8 were here, this would have to be a 1 to make 9, but we already said the 1 was over here. So 8 is definitely on this rim band. So that means that this is the 6, 7, 8 rim band, and that 8 goes here, and that this is a 1. Is that true? And that makes this a 4. And rules 4 out of these. It makes this an 8. That almost feels like I made a mistake. It was just too easy. Was that wrong? I can always undo in a few minutes when I do like some grinding halt and my heart is broken. See, I don't care about that 3 Blobz. I don't need it. I don't need naked singles. No 6 here. No 8 there. Oh. Poor Bazzacco. Where's back? Hot naked singles. Yep. That's how I'm gonna monetize Twitch. I should make all of my like channel descriptions naked singles. I need a way to spoof the thumbnail is the problem. Okay, so what does that mean? Did that actually help us in any way? Oh, we got a 7 over here. So that is a 9. Is this actually sum to 20? I would be very upset if it didn't. Okay, appears to sum to 20. 7, so this is a 5. 6, so this is a 2. This is a very powerful rune, man. We got an 8, we got a 4, we got a 7. Still ignoring that 3. I'm going to ignore it to the last possible moment. I want that 3 to be the last digit I place in the puzzle. I'm going to go out of my way to not do it. I'm not going to do it. I'll do the 1 even, but I'm not going to do that 3 out of spite. Wait a second. Blobz, you got auto-moderated for saying naked pairs, but naked singles is okay? Apparently naked pairs is a filthy concept. That's not a 1 there, so we are going to place the 1 here. Naked tuples is no problem. What a weird... Okay, what are we in need of here? Did I break the puzzle? No, it's a 3. Okay. That was scary for a second. You know, I was thinking, I don't know what it would really take to do this. I don't think browsers would let you do this anymore. But I was thinking, I wonder, could you do it? Sadly, I don't think browsers let you. What I was thinking is another Sudoku pad mod, so that when you got the 3 in the corner, instead of doing confetti, it would dim the screen and put a spotlight on that spot and play the song. And I think if that happened, it would blow Simon's mind out. But I don't think there's an easy way to just inject JavaScript like that. You used to be able to do stuff like that. Like you could make you could like have a bookmarklet that would open a window but also do all that stuff, but I want it to be a surprise. Is that what I need? I need a way to, maybe, I guess, I used to do stuff like that with iframes. I did a project a long time ago. You used to be able to embed an iframe and basically do whatever you wanted inside of it. And there was a very brief window before, yes, I'm sure some people wouldn't like it. It would only be for one puzzle. I would like specifically do it for one puzzle. Yeah, oh man. Okay, that's another subject. Anyway, there was a brief window where there was an experimental, it was experimental in Chrome and Firefox, where you could just run shaders on the DOM. So you could like, I made a thing that you would like load any web page you wanted, and then you could just run shaders on the content of it. Well, and Chris, I'm just going to amp it up then. They're going to love it when it actually shines a spotlight. But, okay, I'm ignoring this 3. It's not in the corner of a cage. What did we actually need here? Is it a 7? Oh, no, it wasn't. What is this? It's a 5. Sorry, bad scanning. Okay, let's actually finish this puzzle. Blobz, I apologize for dragging this out for 83 minutes. But I like it. I'm having a good time hanging out with this puzzle. I do, I can show you this silly thing. It was fun. So what I wanted to do, which unfortunately like security was just becoming enough that you couldn't do it. But basically I wanted to have like open Wi-Fi that people would connect to, and you would use it, but every request would go through a proxy that I would inject some JavaScript into every page that went through, which definitely was like, this is 10 years ago, but HTTPS was becoming common enough that I couldn't just do that. But my goal was not to do anything malicious, but the idea was that if you joined if you joined this open Wi-Fi signal, I would inject a shader into every page that would make it look like your web browser had bad reception because you were just connected to a bad Wi-Fi spot. And that was the whole point of it. And it was a very silly project, but it worked. Like you could go to any web page. Well, not any web page, because even at that time, some places figured out like, oh, we should not let people put us in an iframe and mess with the iframe. But like all of this was just in some experimental branch of Chrome or something, which I think they realized you should definitely not let people just mess with the GPU in that way from... Oh, thanks. It was very silly. Unfortunately, it was one of those things that was a cool concept that I just couldn't actually do because I was once again stymied by security. I get it. Security is important, but it has so many cool things I've tried to make I've not been able to make because of nonsense like security. Okay, I feel like I'm struggling because of this 3 now. This 3 is really holding me back. And I'm also bad at scanning is the other thing. Oh my gosh, I got a 3 in the corner. Oh, what did I mess up? Oh, it. Oh no. Now Owen's gonna leave. Great. We made Owen mad. Owen does not want 3s in the corner. Owen is over it. Tired of the joke. Blobz did that on purpose. Okay, this definitely should have taken me less than an hour, and now we're almost at 90 minutes, but what are you gonna do? Blobz, I feel like I don't give your puzzles the respect they deserve. I love everything that went down on down here. I love this, even though I was very slow to see it. This was great. This was so good. This looks beautiful, but as far as like logic, all of this was great. Does that mean this just is a 5? A 2? Okay, and just to spite Blobz, out of pure mountain, this is actually sum of 13? Hope so. I'm gonna make this the last digit I place. Are we good? That was great. That was so good. Like visually, it's lovely. I think like impressive that you managed the stripes in like a functional way. That's something that the who is it? I think it's also J.W. Sinclair pretty frequently has purely aesthetic coloring. I mean, I get that the blues is purely aesthetic here, but like sometimes I find that really distracting. But in this puzzle, I really like it. No, thank you for giving me a sneak peek of it. It was really good. I love this kind of stuff. This kind of stuff where it's like rules versus rules in a way that is, how do I put it? You know, like every Sudoku rule has a hidden rule set with it. Like German Whispers, it's just like these have to be separated by 5, but everyone knows there's like a secret set of rules associated with that. Or like black Kropke dots or things like that. And the thing, I love it when a puzzle exploits really focuses on the like subset, like the implicit rules, I guess is a way to put it, more so than the explicit rules. And I think what you had going down here was such a good example of the kind of implicit versus explicit. Because I feel like if you didn't think about that, I don't know how, like, if you didn't understand that about indexing, I feel like this would be very difficult to break into. And this was really interesting just because I've never seen this, like this sort of gating of using that kind of mod 3 restriction like as a gate. It was really cool. I love it. Well, you are certainly the master of it with yin yang sightlines. I feel bad that I didn't solve Foggy on stream, but I just wanted to do a puzzle last night. It didn't want to stream, but that one was so good. I feel like that was one of the most fluid puzzles I've solved in a long time, but maybe it's just because I wasn't streaming. like could actually have like a coherent train of thought. Okay, well then maybe I've already bothered Skojo about this, but maybe I'll bother you to help me set my first puzzle that is going to be a musical Sudoku. Where you're talking to Skojo about it, I think I know how to set, or I have an idea of how it could be set, and really this was his suggestion, so I shouldn't take credit for it. But like, there's a sequence of numbers I want to arrive at, and two very high-level constraints I want to enforce, and the I can see, thanks to his suggestions, how you could get there with cages. But I'm wondering if there's some other rule set that would be I don't know, more thematically appropriate. But once I invent musical Sudoku, the world's going to change, because I have so many ideas on how to like make the Sudoku grid end up with highlighted cells that then become like sequencer points, or like this thing. Does this still work? I wonder. Does this thing work? Is heat working, by the way? Yes. Okay. Heat. Oh, well, we have tomatoes and music. But the idea would be that the Sudoku grid would be a like piano roll and would play a little 9-note sequence, which I think would be super cool. That's not how this first one is going to work. This first one is going to work in a different... Actually, maybe it should work that way. Could it work that way? How could you do that? You could do that. Oh, okay. I'm going to have to think about that. But anyway, and I also did that. God, I got to finish that too. It's like my life is just a junkyard of unfinished projects. But the that volume 1 sequencer was pretty cool. That was like the omnidirectional music grid. Okay, I should probably like get up from this desk and go walk around and get some food and stuff, because I basically went straight from work to doing this puzzle. I kind of want to do another puzzle though. Is there a puzzle I could do in half an hour, knowing that I'll get tremendously distracted? Oh, and Chris loves to give me puzzles that are too hard. Actually, there was the one... heliopolix, that puzzle, it was featured on Cracking the Cryptic, right? How hard is it? Yeah, do you think the manatee one? How approachable is it? It looks super cute. Should I try it? How long did it take Mark to solve? What was Mark's solve time on? Oh, that looks relatively short. So double that for me. Wait, it's heliopolix's birthday? Am I saying that correct? Pollux? Sun. Helio usually means sun, right? Let's do it. Should we do this? Do I have what it takes? Digits on a gray thermometer must be increased from the bulb to the tip. So thermometers, German whispers, orange dot. What? Differ by the same value to be determined. Oh no. Oh, interesting. Ooh, it says Blobz. Better work on that D key. Okay, I'm gonna try this, and if I can't do it, it's all your fault. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Not the longest thermometers in the world. Love these little German whispers. Zigzag German whispers are interesting, right? Because they force yeah, they force polarity. I don't know if these are high or low, but like whatever these are, if it is high, then it's high, low, high, right? So then that means this has to be opposite polarity because there wouldn't be enough digits. We'd have 6 high digits. So then these would have to be low or high, whichever it is, but they would be the opposite. Does that transfer down here in some way? Hey, Skojo, how's it going? That Blobz puzzle is great. If you didn't do it, you should try it out. It's got some really, really clever logic. Trying this with Manatee Meadow. So I was just thinking about German whispers and the crowdedness of these zigzaggy German whispers, and just wondering if there's any like any communication down here that would share the polarity, but I don't see it immediately. It feels like these are the ones to think about anyway. It just feels like there's less going on in there. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. So that would be a lot to pencil mark if we decided to fully pencil mark these. What's interesting though is we know that one of these by the 3rd digit is still low. But we don't know which. I guess we could try to come up with some bounds for orange. Oh, it is. It's not the one you suggested. So this makes orange a pretty small number, right? This means that orange, the biggest orange delta, doesn't this mean that orange is 1, 2, or 3? Because even if these were the extreme digits of like one side of the whisper, and one of these was 1, it's annoying that could be a 4 the way these are shaped. So so orange is 1, 2, or 3. So that's a relatively close jump on that thermometer. These are just toying with me. These how do we leverage that? So for example, the minimum digit here is a 5. Well, this just means we're within 3 of a 5, which is not the most useful thing. It's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, or 8. It does not feel especially handy. Well, it's also 9. It could be 9 too, because this could certainly be higher than 5. it means this is at least 2, which is a useless statement because it would have to be at least 3. It would have to be at least 3 anyway. So the lowest this number could be is 3. The highest this number could be is 7. And the lowest, so this is a number between 3 and 7. I'm trying to decide, this could be higher than this, though, certainly, easily. Oh, yeah, of course. Of course. Right. I said the wrong thing earlier. Right. These can see there. Right. Okay. That's good. Thanks for reminding me of that. These do see each other. I just wrote them off as being in different boxes, but obviously they still see each other. So this yeah, okay. Well, let's think about this for a minute. It's just for fun. I don't know why I picked up this habit when I'm streaming Sudoku, but let's do it. So this certainly cannot be a 5 because it's on a German whisper. Can't be a 4 or a 6 because a 4 here would put double 9s, a 6 would put double 1s. So it's not a 4 or 6. It definitely cannot be a 1 or a 2 because we'd have to have 1 or 2 to get here. And it definitely cannot be an 8 or a 9 because where would we go from here? So it is only a 3 or a 7. That is some distance away from this digit. There's some distance that is not more than 3, but is presumably not less than 1. So these digits are within a range, let's say. That logic tragically does not carry over here. Heartbreakingly. Now, if this is a 7, this is definitely a 1-2 pair. That's I believe true. And if this is a 3, this is definitely an 8-9 pair. That feels like a thing a reasonable person would say. These feel very unrestricted at this moment. If this was a 3, this would have to be 1, 2. And if this was a 7, this would have to be 8, 9. But then if it's a 3, this is 1, 2, and this is whatever nonsense you could ever possibly imagine. And the same thing for the 7, which is kind of interesting with these, but not very interesting, because if this is a 3, we already know this is an 8 or 9. So this being a 1, 2 and ruling that out is not really that relevant. That's a little bit interesting, though. Well, no, that is interesting, right? In terms of just polarity kind of considerations. Because if this was a 3, this would be a 1, 2, but this would also be low. So this would be 3, 1, 2. Oof, okay. This is a 3, this is 1, 2, this is 4, and this is 9, explicitly. and then this is 8, and this is 1 or 2. And the same thing's going to reflect the other way. So we just need something to... I don't know that we're going to get out of that just with this because it's too symmetrical. But once we know the polarity of this, we know a lot. We learn a great deal. This is going to be 2 of the same polarity. And this is going to be another polarity. So we'll say like dark color. We just don't know. But this is going to be dark green, light green. And this is going to be light green, dark green. Does this teach us any things that are cool about the world? It does make us think a little bit about 5s, just a little bit. One, 2, 8, 9. No one on Earth knows what these are. No living human. I don't want to think about the orange dot, but I feel like I have to think about the orange dot. I can feel my mind revolting against the idea of it. It just feels like there's too much room. Because it being within 3, if that's a 3, that's a lot of ground covered. Well, that's not true, actually. Because we can't go too low here, right? Because this is, but the minimum here is 5. So the 3, so orange would have to be, okay, this was 5 and this was 3. The 3 would be reaching up into the sky. It would be reaching up to it. But this could easily be a 6 with a 7. But does this mean that orange can't be 3? No, because this could be a 6, and then that would be the 3, and then orange would be 3, I think. Okay, sorry. Yeah, I'm going to think about other things. Jojo and Blobz are losing patience. I can see it. They're done with this. Okay, so it just feels like there's something to this, but maybe I'm sure there is, and I'm just not seeing it right this moment. But we can be German whispery for a while. Like, as Blobz puts it, these elbows all are like incapable of middliness, right? They're semi-extreme. Like a requirement of these elbows is well, it's all the zigs, really, right? All the zigs are going to have the 4, 6 problem. They obviously can't be 5. So these are all 1, 2, 3, 7, 8, 9. Oh, is that helping me yet? That helping me because of orangeness? I mean, we have a similar... Okay. We were able to... Our main way of narrowing this down was the bite out of the middle. On this one, it doesn't feel like we have the same pressure. Under pressure. I mean, we can see that, again, we're minimum of 3 and maximum of 7. So that continues to be true. Right? I feel like I'm missing something very obvious. I'm sorry. Because that would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 9, 8, 7 at the extremes. So obviously not a 5 here. That's German whisper. 4 would need a 9. And then this would be orange away. Orange would be 3 minus orange equals... Is orangeness affecting me here? Have to be orange digits away from 6. And everyone knows that 3 minus... Sorry, orange... 6 minus orange is 3, 4, or 5. But 6 plus orange is 7, 8, or 9. So couldn't be this be 9, 6 with 3 still? I'm certain I'm missing something blindingly obvious. Oh, wait. Okay, hang on. Sorry. What are the polarities the same? So if this is 3, this has to... Oh, interesting. Okay, hang on. If this is 3, it has to be orange away from another low digit. Sorry. So 3 is not orange away from any of these digits, is it? Is that what I'm missing? Is that the embarrassing thing I'm missing? Let's delete my use of suspension marks. So, sorry. 3 is never orange away from another low digit. The maximum orange delta... That's not true, though. Can't it be? Can it be? Sorry, it's never 3 away, but we can still be orange away from... If orange is 1... We still didn't determine that orange is not 1 or 2, right? I feel like I'm just confusing myself now. 3 can be orange away from 1 if orange is 2. But I don't think we've categorically said what orange is yet, right? Hand freeze, how's it going? Is that true? Have we've gone too far? look, Sudoku is boring as all get out. I don't know if I think I did talk about this. My friend Wenna, who sets crosswords, or like a crossword editor for the time, she does one of the daily puzzles. I forget which one it is, the word connection one. I've been trying for a year to get her to pay attention to Sudoku. She started doing the timed Sudoku and asked me for help on one, and I was like, I don't even know how to use this because you couldn't do corner marks and center marks. It seemed outrageous. Okay, sorry. What were we doing? What were we doing? I think I was making an incorrect deduction. I need to be down here, is what you're telling me. I'm in the wrong place. I'm in the wrong place at the wrong time. Okay, sorry. For some reason, I thought I had mentally decided that orange was 3, but that's an outrageous statement. Anyway, this place, we have this same restriction, right? Oh, this restriction is this restriction, isn't it? Is that just true? Are we back in the saddle again? Where we're definitely not a 5, and we're definitely not 1 or 2, and we're definitely not 8 or 9. And if we were 4, these would be both 9s. If we were 6, these would be both 1s. Sorry. I don't know how you expect me to see this when this one is clearly upside down. Yes, Winaloo. In grad school, my crossword buddy, we would do an outrageous number of crosswords every day. She's super good. I'm very proud of her for getting a position with the Times, and that she also sets for the New Yorker. Okay. What are we doing now? Well, these same rules apply, right? That if this is the 3, this has to be 8, 9, and this is 7, this has to be 1, 2. Is that true? 7 has to have a 1, 2 next to it. That is almost interesting. I almost care about this. Oh, but does that communicate our polarity? Right? I'm sorry, I feel so slow on this. I can't play that one. Oh yeah, so I think she used to, for a while she was the editor on the mini puzzle, I think while that person was on, or they were out for some reason. And then for a while she was she still frequently edits puzzles, I think, but I think the puzzle she's in charge of is that New Connections one? I really can't remember. Okay, sorry. I was just trying to communicate this down here because we know that this is either a 1-2 pair if this is 7, this is a 1-2 pair. So that would make this low and this high. So this is the opposite of this. Is that correct? That dark green is actually... I'm doing so badly on this puzzle. Is this correct? Do we feel like we have... Yeah, connections. I really haven't done much of that one. I don't do many of the New York Times puzzles. Occasionally I do some crosswords, and occasionally I do some spelling bee. Okay, sorry. We have communicated our polarity. Sorry, that took me 75,000 years to do. What do we know about this line? We know that this digit isn't I was just thinking about this line as far as like more polarity parties. So basically what I was saying, Owen, is like these are 3 or 7, right? And the 7 is going to have to go with a 1-2 pair, and the 3 is going to have to go with an 8-9 pair, just by German whispers logic. And the same thing is here. So these cells are competing for this is going to be a 1-2 pair forcing this to be 8-9, or it's going to be 8-9 forcing this to be 1-2. So that's exciting news. And that means what? What does that mean? Okay, we had all those other things in our brain that would happen if we actually got unfolded the polarity. And I assume those happen here. Like this, if this is a 3, this has to be a 1-2. Or if this is a 7, this has to be an 8-9. All of that business. We don't know anything about orangeness over here. I was just thinking about the additional, or like kind of the remaining. This is either high or it's a 5. And if it was high, wouldn't it be out of reach of the 3? No, you could just do it, because that could be 6 and this could be 3 and that could still be low. And over here, I feel very slow on this puzzle. Sorry about that. What an embarrassment. If this is a 4, that means pink is low. So this is a 1-2 pair. This would be 4. That'd be 7. That'd be 4. That would be 9. Then this could be any old thing. I haven't really thought about this one. This isn't high. If this is high, if this were high, this would be high. And then we'd have too many. Oh no, sorry, I was thinking red was high. I don't know that yet. If this was high, then this couldn't be. But that is not a true statement. At this moment, not a true statement. I was thinking about it in terms of this, like. But the thing that's annoying, this sequence could just be in the middle of this sequence. I guess it depends on how big orange is. Oh my gosh, I'm feeling extra slow on this puzzle. Falling to pieces. If this were a 3, then orange would have to only be a 1 or a 2, right? I don't know. I'm falling apart. Wait, Skojo says something solvable. Row 3, column 8. Oh wait, this is solvable now? Did something happen downstairs that translated up to the top of the world? true? I mean, I believe you. I just don't know that I believe that I see it. Skojo is throwing thousands of imaginary tomatoes. Here, I'll throw them for you. Row 3, column 8. Okay, sorry. What am I missing about row 3, column 8? So, if what? In terms of orangeness, okay, what are our options here? If this is a 3, then this can be an 8 or a 9, and this is a 1 or a 2, and this is a 7. So that would be 3, 8 or 9, 1 or 2, 7. And then that 3 needs to be next to another low digit that is also next to an 8 or a 9. So it's not a 4. So this would be next to a 1 or a 2. Oh, okay, hang on. So let me say that again. If this is 3, it's next to another low digit, but that other digit is not a 4. Right? Because if this was a 4, this would be double 9. So this 3 would have to be next to another low digit, which would be a 1 or a 2. Well, that's been there the whole... Has that been there the whole time? Oh my gosh. Has that been there the whole... Has it been there my entire life? If... Is that right? Scott just says, okay, it's been there my whole life. Okay. So we're going to say this is not a 3. Because because this is definitely not a 4. So if this was a 3, this would be 1 or 2. But if this is 3, this is 1 and 2. So that is not a 3. And I'm assuming that same logic is going to apply with the 7. Because if this is a 7, this can't be a 6 because that would be double 1. So if this is a 7, this is an 8 or 9. But if this is a 7, that's an 8, 9 pair, so it's not a 7. Oh man, that's embarrassing. How do you people watch me how do you watch this? I know that Blobz is only here for the ASMR voice. I don't know why Skojo's here. Owen's just here. Owen loves to watch me struggle. Okay. If that is a 4, 6, that is absolutely a 1 or a 9. Axio, am I winning? I don't think so, because I've been doing this puzzle for 34 minutes and I have a few pencil marks. Not a digit, not summoning demons. No, it's cute manatees. Okay, thanks, Skojo, for the vote of confidence. Do you need a lullaby? I could sing a song for you. Do you have any requests? Okay. I feel like I did cross some like fatigue threshold. It is weird to like work all day and then try to stream puzzles, turns out. Oh shoot. I actually have to run pretty soon. Oh no, bummer. I didn't realize it was so late. Shoot. Okay. I've got a little more time, but I may have to actually pause this. Oh, sorry, everybody. I was supposed to do this in 30 minutes. Remember? Yeah, I have to run in about maybe 20 minutes. Okay. So I just have to solve it in 20 minutes. No problem. So 4 or 6 is some number of, I don't know what to say here. 4 and 6 is orange away from something. So if this is 4, this is 1. If this is a 4, this is a 1, 2, 3 triple. Because all of these have to be low. And if this is 6, this is a 7, 8, 9 triple. Does that break something? Oh no, more insight. So if this is 4, this is from 1, 2, and 3, but so's this and so's this. So that would be all of my low digits. Wait, if I put a 4 here, is that really true? If I put a 4 here, this becomes a 1, 2, 3 triple and puts a 4 here and breaks because that would be a double 9. Is that true? Is that actually right? That this cannot be a 4 because if this is a 4, these must be from the digits 1, 2, and 3. This must be from the digits 1, 2, and 3. That means pink is 4. That puts a 4 here. These would both be 9 and the puzzle would be broken. Oh my gosh. So we get the polarity. So pink is high. So this is 3. So that's our 1, 2 pair, or 8, 9 pair. Sorry, this is our 1, 2 pair. This is a 4. 6 has to go next to a 1. This rolls the high digits out of red. I wanted to change these colors because this is already hurting me. So red, we will make orange. That was lovely logic. I would feel bad for being so slow and seeing it, but that was really lovely. Okay. Great. So this is a what? So this, wait, I did that backwards. Oh my gosh, good grief. That was very silly. Okay, what can we do in 15 minutes? So that forces these to be high. That makes this a 7, 8, 9 triple. That means what? What does that mean? That means this is a 1 or a 2. That means this is a 3, 4, or 5. Nope, sorry. 2, 3, or 4. And that it's not a 4 because that'd be double 9. That means that this is not 1, 2, so this is 3 or 4. That means this is not 7, but I think it could be a 6. That means these digits are something. It means this digit, 7, 8, or 9. Oh wait, did I do something wrong here? Oh shoot, you're right. That could be a 7. Sorry about that. I was just looking at the 7 for no real reason. I just saw a 7 there and somehow it made me... I should have done that here. That was a silly thing to do. Thank you for catching that. Okay. So this is very exciting. So any more restrictions anywhere that are... calling out. This is 1, 2, or 4. It's not 4 because that would be a bad situation. So that's a 1, 2. 3 is some number of digits away from this. You sound like Grimbone. Just solve it from here. Easy. Oh, right. That all translates down here too. That same logic. Right. So this is an 8-9 pair. So this is high. So that knocks 8-9 out of here. So that's 6-7 with a 1-2, which seems okay. Now we can say what I wanted to say earlier when it was a lie, but now it's true, is that both of these digits are not high. But it still seems possible that this is either 5. So this digit's not low. So orange is at least 2, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So orange is at least 2. So orange is 2 or 3. So this isn't 7. Orange is 2 or 3. Okay. Shoot, now I'm feeling very time constrained. Oh yes, and this is a thermometer. That's how thermometers work. This also can't have a 7, and this can't have a 9. You'll be excited to know how thermometers work. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4. So we got another low digit lurking somewhere. We do have a 1 on this line, which has to be at the bulb, right? Or else, what else could we possibly do? Oops. So we said orange is a 2 or a 3. We don't exactly know which yet. Oh, there's a 7 over here. Has to be here. Oops. Right? So we get an 8-9 pair here. Weird 8-9 floating around here. This is 3 or 4, so this is not a 6. So that's an 8 or a 9. That could still be 3, annoyingly. Oh, what tremendously obvious thing am I missing now? This digit's certainly low. You couldn't have a 5 here. I don't know why I pencil marked that, but I did. I did do it. Right, what can be here? Right, so it's... I already forgot. What did I say? I said it's 5 or 6, right? Because it's 1 or 2 away. Terrier Darts insists that 5s are gray. You make me happy when 5s are gray. Right, because it'd be a 2 or 3. Okay. Thank you. Oh, look at that. 1, 2 pair. There's a 3 there. Oh, so this is weird stuff going on. But this is a minimum of 4. So 9, 8, 7, 6. So this is a 4, 5, or 6? Is that a true statement? It's not 1, 2, it's not 3, 9, 8, 7, 6. And then this must be 2 or 3 away from here. So it's at least 2 away. So this is, so that's not actually true, right? Because this isn't 9, 8, 7, 6. There's a gap of at least 2 here. It's 9, 8, 7, 5. So this is can't be a 6. So that's a 4 or a 5. That's a 5 or a 6, which is lame. This could be seven or 8, 8 or 9. Is that correct? If this is 4 plus 2, if orange is 2, that's 6, 7, 8. It's 5. Or orange is 3 and it's 4, 7, 8, 9. So if orange was 3, we would know what's up. That does make these all high. Shoot, I do have to stop soon. Oh, 8, 9 pair. Now what? I feel like we're on the cusp of having a ton of oh, right. I should number these. Like in terms of what I could have here. If that's 5, 6, this is 4, 5. Wait, is that true? It's gonna be 1, 2, 3, 6, 5, 4, 3, right? So that could be 2 or 3, 3 or 4, 4 or 5. Is that right? Did I do that wrong? 1, 2, 3. This is at least a 3. It's not a 4. It can't be a 5. Is this just a 3? Did I do something wrong here? It's not 1, 2, or 4. It's a minimum of a 3. 6, 5, 4. I think it's just a 3. Is that a 3? It was right. Okay, it's a 3. Okay, that's a 2. A 4, 5 pair makes this the 6, which is high. So now we know the nature of orangeness. Oops. 7. So the nature of orangeness is that it is 3. So that is a 9. And so this can't be a 5 because then this would have to be an 8. So that's the 4. That's the 5. This is an 8. So this is a 3. That is an 8 from that. That is not a 3. That's not a 9. This is not a 7 because 7 can't go next to 3. So that's an 8. Oh my gosh, time is so short. 1, 2. Okay, so we have 7 million digits here. Surely we can figure something out from that. We are, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We have 6, 7. So this is, well, yeah, obviously. That's just the other part of the 8, 9 pair. I can see the tomatoes flying in the corner of my eye. So this, we can't do this without, if I try to put the 9 here, then this is an 8. That's 6, 7, 8. I mean, that does work. But if I put the 8 here and the 9 here, then that's 6, 7. Oh, well. Hang on. Wait, hang on. I already know this. Why am I thinking about this? This just is a 7 because it's orange. Sorry. So that's a 9. What am I missing here? Is a 6, an 8, a 9. I'm sure I'm being shouted at in the chat right now. 7. Okay, so what are we missing here in the world? So we need a 6 and an 8. That is not a 6, so that's the 8. That's a 6. That's a 1. That's a 2, which makes everybody happy over here. You people are happy, it would appear. 1, 2. Where's the 4? Sorry, I was just off on some off in my own little world, basically. Okay, I just gonna pencil mark. What is actually missing here is a 4 and a 5, and that is not quite resolved yet, annoyingly. And then up here is 4, 5, and 2, 7, but 7s are not here. Did I do that right? Yeah, and 2s aren't here. So 4, 5, 7 here, 2, 4, 5 here. This has to be 3 digits away. So if it was a 7, it'd have to be minus 3 to be 4, and we can't do that. If it was 5, it could be plus. If it was 5, it could be plus 3, 8, or minus 3, 2. We can't do that. So I think that's a 4. So that's the 5, the 4. We get a 2, 5, 7 over here. So this 4 is either 1 or 7, and it's not 1. I feel like I'm going to screw up on this arithmetic now. Collapse under the weight of arithmetic. I just heard a bleep. Oh my god, a naked octuple. It's a rare beast. Okay. So we got another orange. That's exciting. Sorry, losing a little bit. We still need 1 and 2 here, and then what else? We need a 1 and 2. The freaking 5. Oh, the 5's here. Great, terrific. There's a 5 over here somewhere, according to some legend says. There's a 5 over there. 1, 2 here. That could still be a 4. That's annoying. We are missing a 1 and a 4 here. So this is a 2. That's a 1. This is not a 1. That is a 1, and that is a 2. We have 3 in here somewhere. We have a 3. We have all the low digits here. I could see tomatoes. I could see them in the corner of my eye, taunting me. 7. There's just some good old-fashioned Sudoku going on here, I think. Where's the 7? Here. So this becomes. I made that a color and then didn't put the digit there. 5, 6, 9. 9 is not here. The 9 is here. This is a 5, 6 pair, and we know the order from the thermometer. 5s are required by law to be gray. Now we need, what, 3, 4? They're very low digits. And we need 1, 5, 6. It's not a 1. Oopsie. Okay, well, we clearly have some concerns here. That's not a 1. So there's a 1 on this thermo, so it has to be here. So that becomes a 5, 6 pair. This is a cool story. Very exciting tale. We gotta figure out these other orange stitches. Okay, I'm just gonna put them out of time. It's fine. I'm just gonna do it. I'm just gonna do it anyway. I'm gonna do this puzzle. It's too late to turn back now. We have 5, 6, 7. Someone's talking to me on Discord. Wait, don't remove a 5 from there. I'm gonna do it all. This is 5, 6, 7, right? This is 3 digit. This is 3 away from this. This is not a 7, by the way. Oh, there's a 5, 6 pair there. 3, 4, 9. Oops. Is that true? Is 3, 4, 9 correct? Hope so, because it's what I put there. That's not a 4, 9, 4. 3, 9 pairs. That is a 4. So we need to be 3 away, but it's not a 1. So that's a 7. Boop. You are also not a 7, so it would seem you are a 7. Oops. I'm bad at these shortcuts. Almost got all of our orange dots. This is a very exciting day. So this is 3 away from 5, which would be 2 or 8, and it can be neither of those, or it's 3 away from 6, which would be 3 or 9, and it could be either one, annoyingly, but that is a 6, and that's a 5, 5, 6. This is not 2 or 8. It is 3 or 9. It is very difficult for a 9 to be in the bowl of the thermometer. Some would say impossible. Oops. 4, 3, 9, 3. We're getting lax on our coloring here. I'm slipping back into the voice. I don't even mean to. It's just coming. I think it's because I'm getting tired. It's just coming out of me now. I just have a button that makes Discord sounds, so it sounds like someone's talking to me. Probably Grimbone sending me something weird. I feel like the only person who sends me PMs on DMs, PMs, I don't know, on Discord is Grimbone. 2. I was hoping that would be better. Anyway, we need to place 2, 4, and 8. And 2 is only here, 8 is only here, 4 is here. And the cutest little thermometer you ever saw in your life. This is 2, 5, 6. There's no 6 here. Here's the 6. This is 1, 9. We know the order of that. 2, 4, 5. Is that right? 2, 4, 5 in here. It can't be 5. It can't be 2 because then 4 would be beneath it on the thermometer. So that's the 4, that's the 2, that's the 1, the 4, the 1, the 2, 5, 2, 5, 2. It's happening. We're just going into the voice now. I didn't even mean to. Just taking over. 5 and 5. Hooray. So now we just have to do Sudoku. So I kind of just want to stop. I don't want to do this anymore. Kind of pretty much done with this puzzle because I want to do Sudoku. My brain just fully shut off. Just like out of gas. We got a 3 in the corner. What a surprise. Just a 6, 8 pair. That's the 8. That's the 6. Let's finish our coloring. Okay. That was a lovely puzzle. And it was so fluid once I actually came unstuck. That interplay here was really cool. It's embarrassing that I didn't get the basic German whisper logic. I don't know why that took me so long. That was embarrassing. But the way this, I guess it took some time, right? Because we had to sort of communicate. Yeah, we had to communicate. We had to figure out these two, like their internal polarities, like the polarities of these two and the polarities of these two. We had to communicate it down. And then after we did that, we could get this 6 because the 4 wasn't allowed in it. That was cool. It was really cool. I'm embarrassed it took me so long, but hey, what do we do? Oh, Blobz, thanks for stopping by. Okay. I'm late, but it's okay. All right. Thank you, everybody. Cocho, Blobz, Axio, lovely to see you. Nice to see Binary back from the grave. Owen, Chris. Who did I miss? Sorry if I missed somebody. Cherry Darts, of course. Also back from the grave. Yeah, so I'm going to try to stream again this weekend, but thanks for hanging out. That was the wrong button. Push the wrong button. Thanks for hanging out. See you next time. Bye. I almost blew a kiss. I don't know why I was going to blow a kiss to you. Bye.